Hey everyone, welcome to layout update number 20. In this update I'm going to show you guys some of the new things I got at York, tell you about some future plans for the layout, and also show you something really exciting that came in. So let's jump right into it. At York this fall I was able to pick up a few cool things to add to the layout, and the first thing you're seeing right here is in front of Jack's Carving Studio. I found a Halloween truck which kind of fits in perfectly there. I came across a few skeletons over at Scenic Express, and on the Pumpkinhead Water Tower we got one hanging out, just surveying the entire town, making sure everything goes well. And over here on the festival there's two of them hanging out at the top. I think they fit in pretty good there. On the back over by the Golden Grass I've got a few bison. There we go. And over here in front of the Shell station, I was able to find a pickup truck with a couple of engine blocks in the back. I think that fits in perfectly. Now the only thing that the Shell station is missing is a few mechanics, which I've been looking and haven't been able to find the ones that I want. So as soon as I do, I'll get a chance to detail the Shell station and make it look like there's some people there. In the farm, I added a watermelon rack. Which fits in pretty good with the watermelons that are being grown. Oh, and I forgot, over here at the Shell station there's a tire sale. So if anybody needs tires this week, they're on special. Just give us a call, we'll see if we can help you out. A couple of other new items which I picked up from York as some rolling stock. I've been looking for this car for a while, and this is the Lionel Union Pacific aluminum hopper car. And it's a pretty heavy car. The detail is very nice. In front of it is Lionel Union Pacific double door boxcar, and both doors open up on this. One of the details I like to point out is that you can see right down here they just made the trucks the same as the body, so the color is really nice how they match that up. They're starting to do that more on their boxcars and rolling stock, and I think it's a really nice feature that Lionel's added. In front of that is the Union Pacific stock car. This just came out. Again, all the pieces you're going to see here are all Lionel. And I had this on order, came in, and I think it's a nice car. The door does open up, and there's no cows in there right now, but in the future there probably will be. In front of that is the Lionel Union Pacific flat car with trailers, and I have to thank my buddy Brian for pointing this car out to me. I had no idea the detail on this. The top of the deck right here is all wood. It's actual wood. It's not plastic, that's wood. And the logos are also on the front and back of the trailers. On the back, there we go. And on the front. So very highly detailed, definitely a nice piece. If you guys are Union Pacific fans, I recommend picking one of these up. And lastly, I came across this at York. It's a Union Pacific gondola. A little bit older, I believe it was made in 2004, but something I didn't have, so it made a nice addition to the layout. Over here is a Lionel Conrail 60-foot boxcar. And lastly, with the rolling stock, is this piece right here, which I was able to find at one of my local hobby shops. It is a custom-built tank and flat car. The flat car is Lionel, but the tank is a model which the gentleman who built it detailed, weathered. I'll get in pretty close so you can see. It looks like there's a little battle damage right here. And I've always wanted one. Most of the time when you come across these, the prices are really exorbitant. This price was very reasonable, so it was hard for me to pass it up. So I decided to pick it up. I think it'll make a nice addition to the layout. Maybe I can get a few more of these in the future and have a nice consist behind one of my diesel or steam engines. Not sure which, but moving on, the really big part of this update is right here. This makes us one step closer to the addition being finished. What you see in front of you is the roundhouse, which I've been talking to you guys about. It's a 6-stall Korber roundhouse. This was back in the springtime of this year. I met Rich from Korber Models and started speaking with him at York, telling him that I was looking for a roundhouse that was going to be big enough to house my big boys and my Challengers. And we went back and forth with some emails. Long story short, this is what you see from the product of that. It was built by Alex from Korber Models along with Alan Graziano. I was fortunate enough to be invited to Alan's house and was able to pick the roundhouse up there, along with seeing his work and seeing his workshop. Right here is a sand tower which he built, and I couldn't resist this one because, I mean, you can see the detail on this is just superb. He does terrific work. I'm going to get you guys some closer views of the roundhouse. And right now, the only thing powering it, so the lights are on, is just a small Lionel transformer that I have. So what we talked about was detailing, weathering, and obviously it needed to be big enough to house my big boys. Since I have 3 of them, they're probably going to go in the first 3 stalls. Not sure exactly where. We'll worry about that once the future comes around. But there's also an access panel. The entire back of the roundhouse lifts off. I'm going to get you guys closer to it in just a second, but I want you to see the view from here. I think this is going to be pretty impressive when it's finally done, having the engines go right in there. Now you guys will see there's a Union Pacific sign up there. That's not permanent right now, it's kind of just sitting there, but I'm going to center it and bring it out a little bit closer to the front because we're going to have a whole bunch of Union Pacific sitting in there. So getting a little bit closer, one of the things which I wanted to have on top of the layout once this was on there is, as you can see, there is some weathering right on top of each stall, and that would be where the steam would hit the top of the stall. Now right now I don't have the doors installed because I really don't want to do that just yet. That'll be a little bit more in the future. Once the bench work comes in, then I'll worry about putting this on top of the bench work and also worry about installing the doors. So they're off right now, but they will be on in the future, of course. And as you can see, the weathering on it is very light. It's not a lot of weathering, which is something that I wanted. I like most of my buildings on my layout to look like they're clean, they've been maintained. I don't like a lot of weathering, and I think that Alan did a wonderful job here. And as you can see, like I was telling you, the entire back panel lifts off. I have it slid back a little bit so you can see. I'll go around the other side. But that's for access in the event that there's a problem. Now I do plan on detailing the inside with some benches and some mechanics and whatnot. But again, that's something that I'll do a little bit later on once I finish up the bench work. And that's something we'll get to in a second because that'll be the last portion of this update. So walking around to the other side, you can see it's lighted, weathered, built, and it accommodates plenty of space for the big boys and the Challengers. So this was really important to me, having the roundhouse for those engines, because taking them off the rack that I have and then trying to get them on the layout, there's not a lot of space between my closet where they're housed right now and the layout. I mean, that's about 20 inches, 22 inches. So it's really difficult. You know, I have to grab them out of here and then put them on the track and then worry about maybe dropping them or knocking something over. With this, they'll just be on the track at all points. We're not gonna have to worry about taking them on or off the track anymore. They'll be housed in their own engine shed. And also the track is gonna be set up with a toggle switch. That way I can turn it off when I'm not using them and call up which track I want. Lastly, if you guys remember in one of my last updates, I told you that the plan was for the lift bridge right there to be on a hydraulic so that it would go up and down. And then this, where this track is, that black track, from there right back would be open. Well, my buddy Brian came over and we've been talking and measuring and trying to figure out what the best way to do it was. And with the big boys and the Challengers, they really don't like to go on curves less than 0.72 from my experience. I mean, I know people have put them on smaller curves and some of my friends have told me that they've done it. And you know, it'll do it, but it's just a lot easier. It's a lot safer for the engine, in my opinion, to go on the 0.72 curve. So what I've decided is, you see right here, just for scale purposes now, I have my stool in there. That's going to be the section that's open. So from the black track back will be filled in, and it'll give me the ability to have a more of a curve off the main line and then coming into the turntable. I can also set up some switches that if I need to go over into this section right here or into that section over there. Now on one of these two sections, that engine shed right there is going to sit, because that'll be my diesel service facility, whereas this will be my steam service facility. And also I plan on taking that coaling tower out. That's a Lionel coaling tower, along with this coaling station and this water tower out, and adding them to what's going to be hopefully a pretty nice service facility for all my engines. I'll have spur tracks. You know, obviously that portion is not decided yet. I want to throw an ash pit in there. That you guys have seen before is going to be, that's going to be the workhouse, or pretty much the spot where all the people will congregate that are working in the facility. And you guys have seen that before, so that's nothing new. And I'll also relocate that switch tower over there. That's a Lionel switch tower. Bring it into the area. More than likely it'll be in somewhere in this area here. And I'll have the track, probably this switch might actually stay there, and I'll have the track curve around so that way it S's onto the lift bridge. So that's the plan right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed taking a look at my new turntable and roundhouse. I mean, the turntable is not new, but the roundhouse definitely is. And it's a piece which I've really been looking forward to having in my collection and on my layout. And hopefully by the first of the year, I'll be able to get a chance to get to the bench work and start putting that up. But like I said, once I do that, that's when the trains stop running. So that's going to be tough to break away from that. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I want to welcome all my new subscribers and thank you guys for subscribing. And I want to wish everyone a happy holidays.